Mm.
Hey, everybody. This is Kim Danke, the Shibboleth new member fast track instructor. And tonight is the Monday night webinar. Tonight, we focus on learning how to simply combine foods. One of the most important things we're going to do tonight is to list out foods that go in each of the categories. What I highly suggest that you do is make lists. That's important. I hope that you already have been making some lists, but tonight, go ahead and write down on a piece of paper the numbers 1 through 7. And if you like some of the foods, go ahead and write them down. Thank you so much for joining me on a Monday night. If you are on Facebook, please take a second to say hello. I would also love for you to share this video if you are so inclined. It is the secret to weight loss and wellness, and it would help some people out when it finds them. It will find the right person if you hit share. If you're in the Zoom room, please take just a second to find the chat feature. Whether you are on your phone or on your computer, find where it is chat. Click there and then click where it says all panelists. After that, you choose the option for all panelists and attendees. That's important to see next to your name. After you've done that, please take just a second to say hello and let me know if you are new or you're here for a refresh. And I'd also love to know if you were here last night or not. That helps me. I always give it until 3 minutes after the class just to make sure that if anyone that wanted to log on could. Sometimes we have people that are brand new to using Zoom when they find us. So just want to make sure they can get on there. Hey, Patty Bass. Patty Bass is on here from Murray County, Tennessee. Always here to help. Yes, you are. It's awesome. Hey, Chris, night 2 from Ackworth. Fabulous. Hey, Amy was here last night as well. Good. Good. I'm glad y'all are back here with me. And Jennifer, brand new. Today was day 1. I missed last night. I thought it started today. Jennifer, all you get, you can stay with us tonight. Okay, it's going to be fine. What we're going to go over tonight is the one component on combinations, but you do for sure want to go back and watch last night's. It's recorded, so you can go back and watch it. And that's going to be the lifestyle overview. What is it that I do every single day to get the results that I want? This webinar tonight is all about combining foods. Yeah, awesome, Jennifer. And you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to go and show you where to find that because everybody really needs to see that again. So I'm going to share my screen. We are going to click on the Shibboleth website. Click on dashboard at the top and then fast track. Now, if you're brand new, it's probably opening up to fast track, all right? But what I really want y'all to do, now this list might look long, but it's not. These things don't take a long time. It's really just you read the black box, then you click on the link and you do whatever the black box said for you to do at the link. Once you've done it, you come back over here and you check this box. The next thing is you're going to watch these 14 little videos. That will also help Jennifer give you an overview, but definitely go back and watch last night's webinar too, because no one can hear this information enough in the beginning. You got to hear it over and over because one webinar you'll listen to, one thing will click. The next webinar you listen to, another thing will click and all of that. So it's okay if you hear these things multiple times over and over and over again. And then kind of from here, the welcome packet and guidelines all the way to the meal plan worksheet are really things that you could print. It's sort of like if we put everything in a welcome email to you, then that's the things that we would put. That would be the documents that you could look at and read. But we don't put it all into a welcome email. The email, your welcome email says to come to Fast Track, and it's all right here. Once you have either printed these things or saved them on your computer or just know where they are and have read them, if you don't have a printer, you can just read them online. It's fine. Just check the box once you've done that. This part right here is simply getting into our Facebook groups if you are a Facebook user. If you are not a Facebook user, then it's okay. Just check the boxes like you've done it, all right? And then in lap 2, this is kind of us dotting the I's and crossing the T's on getting our accounts set up properly. Confirm your email. Find your ideal weight. Complete a full body assessment. This is really, really important. Complete your profile, making sure to record your starting weight and starting measurements. And then take a before, front, and side picture and upload it to your account. Write your why. None of these things take a long time, but you are starting a journey. You're starting an awesome, awesome adventure. And there's things that you do to prepare for the journey. And this is what we're doing. We're getting you prepared. So Jennifer, if you come right here into lap 2, do you see where it says watch the daily fast track webinars? There are 7, or participate live nightly. That's what we prefer. That's where you're going to find last night's webinar. Okay, so just go there and then click on the Sunday night webinar. And then the website that I'm going to use tonight, it's right here. So many people ask me after I do this webinar, hey, can I get access to this link? You can. It's right there. And then the very last thing on lap 2 is to take the fast track quiz and you will earn your very first badge. and it'll look like this. Now it's going to say the word complete at the bottom, but Fast Track is not complete. It just means that you had to do that step in order to open up the full food library, recipe library, and restaurant guide. And so I really would like, if you have the time and it's possible, I really would like for everybody to have lap 1 and 2 done before tomorrow night, if possible, because lap 3, we start digging around in the food library, and you're going to want to have your full food library open to you. So y'all go ahead and work on laps 1 and 2 over the next couple of days. All right. And always keep in mind that when you're doing this video, this right here is a video of me showing you how to do this. So if you need to watch a video, there's the video on that. Patty Bass says, be sure to take those pictures and take those measurements. In a few months, it will blow your mind. And we've been having a hard time finding a really good, like just Patty Bass before picture of her, because she didn't have a whole bunch of them. So this is why that's why we take this front and side pictures, because at some point in your journey, you're going to want to see that, because you're going to go, whoa, look at what I have accomplished. Look at what I set my mind to. Look at what I did. And you're going to want those. Yes, yes, Janet, don't we love Patty Bass? Janet, if you want to, you can set your chat to all panelists and attendees. You're welcome, Jennifer. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, Patty says, I was ashamed, but I'm not going back. We're not going to go back just to get a picture, are we, Patty? We did finally find one. I say we like I'm with her all the time, but we do talk a lot. But she finally found one. And she says, my pictures are all done. It was a humbling experience. Yes, I'm glad that you did that. I'm glad you did that, Jennifer. And you know what? You just used one of my favorite words, humble. Because one of the problems that a lot of people have when they're starting this journey is pride. Pride stops many a person from doing what they need to do for themselves. They think they know everything already, and they don't want to and are not open to learning other things. And one of the most important things that we can tell you as you come into this lifestyle is forget anything that you thought you knew about nutrition. Forget it. And learn this and do this, because if you I knew previous stuff too, but it wasn't helping me get the results I needed. And that's what I did. Travis said, forget anything that you thought you knew and just do this. Don't question it. Just do it. It will work. Yes, sir. And guess what? 50 pounds later, after 2 years of maintaining that 50-pound weight loss, I'm excited. I'm still excited. And you know what I get to do? Share it with you. That even makes me happier. Once you figure me out, you'll know that if I can help somebody grab this thing by the tail and hang on for dear life and do it, that's what makes me happy. And look at that. Patty Bass, 83 pounds gone since last October. So it's awesome. All right. Well, I talked a little bit more tonight than I normally do. We're going to get over here to this little extra one. That's right, Janet. Woohoo! It's right. Awesome. Okay. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to recap the cooking fats or cooking oils and fats. We're going to talk about condiments because we haven't even talked about those yet at all. And then I'm going to read the categories as we come to a new category, because I want you to start to hear the names of these foods and what category they go in. We want to figure out how these foods, their nutritional profile, and how they respond in your body. And just being familiar and hearing them will help you. Okay, so cooking oils / fats. It's really a category on its own. It's just not a numbered category, but you could use up to 1 tablespoon with a serving. Think about it like this. If you're cooking yourself one 96% lean ground beef hamburger in a pan and you want to use oil, then you could do 1 tablespoon. But if you're cooking 4 for the family, you can use 4 tablespoons, all right? But the one that we like for people to use the most is 100% MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride. The next one on our list is coconut oil. It is 66% MCT oil, but it's not 100, but it still works. Ghee butter, spelled Ghee, butter. That one is butter. It's just been clarified, meaning all of the milk solids have pulled out of it. So it's been clarified. And this is 40% MCTs. And then we've got 0-calorie cooking spray that can be used. Now, obviously, 0-calorie cooking spray doesn't have any calories in it. 1 tablespoon of MCT oil has about 130 calories. Now, you might be thinking, why? Why would I choose to use something that's got 130 calories in it versus a 0-calorie option? Well, there's choices that I make. If I am cooking a protein plus fat, it already has fat in it. I do not need to add fat to it. That's when I use 0-calorie cooking spray just to help me cook it. But if I'm cooking a lean protein or even a fibrous carb, if I wanted to, toss some green beans in it or something like that, I can use MCT oil in that, and that'll work just fine. But I don't add MCT oil to other fatty things. So the MCT oil has a muscle preserving effect and a metabolism building effect, and that both of those things are good. MCT oil stands for medium chain triglyceride. Now, what the medium chain triglyceride has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. I hope you heard that. There is an oil, this one, that has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. Let me just tell you something. I have never bought another oil since April of 2019. Why? Why would I? Now I know the secrets. I'm not going back. So, but long chain triglycerides, they have a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat. They are a longer fat lipid and they're more dense. So, what's happening is when your body uses energy, it goes to that first. They take a very long time to break down and they often don't get burned off on the same day that you consumed them. Therefore, they got stuck there because then you eat again. Okay, but if you have this MCT oil that burns like that, you don't have that same thing happening. When you are using MCT oil, please cook on low to medium heat. It will set off your smoke detector if you don't, but typically meats that are cooked on low to medium heat are juicier anyway. Okay, so just a little tip right there. We use MCT oil for 3 reasons. We cooking in a pot, a pan, a grill, however you're doing it. Recipes, we can use it in our recipes, and making approved salad dressings. Those are the 3 reasons that we use it. We still use it very purposefully. There's a lot of noise out there in the market about, oh, use it this way, use it this way. They're not on our plan. All right. They aren't applying all the pieces and parts that Travis has put together for us to get results. So we do not need to take it as a supplement. We don't make bulletproof coffee with it, and we do not add it randomly to shakes. Okay. Now, if you are hearing right now some things that you do with MCT oil because you've heard it before, this is where that part comes in, where you humble yourself and you say, okay, I'm not going to make that bulletproof coffee anymore. I'm not going to randomly throw it in my shakes and things like that. Okay, so these are the type things that we have to say, okay, not going to do that anymore. Okay, so let's talk about condiments. Condiments are those things that make your food taste like they should. Imagine chicken breast. You take it, you season it, it can taste Mexican. You season it, it can taste Italian. You season it, it can taste like barbecue. So condiments are pretty important, right? You take a simple piece of chicken and doctor it up in whatever flavors you want, and you get some yummy chicken. But we got to know how to use condiments. There are lots and lots of calories in condiments. So we have a rule about condiments. We call that the 5, 2, and few rule. This is a sprinkling, okay, meaning a smidge. You're not going to use much. The amount would be no more than 50 calories of condiments on a combined meal. So what the 5 is you are looking for the sugar content in that item, and the 2 is the fat content in the item. So you don't want it to have more than 5 grams of sugar and no more than 2 grams of fat per serving. And then you don't want to use more than 50 calories worth of condiments on a combined meal. So let's talk about this. Let's say that you're making a 96% lean ground beef hamburger and you know that you like some cheese on it. Well, I'm going to suggest the Borden fat-free cheese. The reason I suggest that one is because I like it, but you could use whatever you wanted. I know it has 30 calories in it. Let's say I want to add some mustard. Well, typically mustard is 0 calories, so I could add mustard. And then I would have 20 more calories to play with. Do I want some ketchup, some approved ketchup? Yeah, maybe I want to do that. So I would actually have 3 condiments on my meal, but they all are approved and you're not going more than 50 calories on the condiments. Okay, so that's how you use those. I'm going to talk about some practical application of picking out a condiment in the store. Now, you're going to find that you have access to our food library, and you can type things into the food library when you're at the grocery store and see if they'll work or not. But condiments, the quickest and easiest way is just to look at the item and see, because there's so many things that can be used as condiments and they're not all in the food library. So really, if you just know that you know your rule, you just apply it. So if I was walking through the store and I wanted to buy some barbecue sauce, I could pick that baby up and look at it. I'm going to look for the sugar content and the fat content. I want it to have 5 or less of sugar and 2 or less of fat. And then when I use the barbecue sauce, I'm just not going to use more than 50 calories of it. Or if I'm using it in combination with other condiments, I will need to take that into account. So if it says that there's 1 tablespoon of that's 20 calories, then I would say, oh, okay, I'm going to do a slice of cheese and some of that, whatever it is you want to do. I don't really just use a whole bunch of cheese all the time. I'm just using those as examples. Awesome, Patty. Thank you for typing that in. Okay, so let me give you a practical application of it. I was in the grocery store. In the grocery store, I wanted to buy some Classico traditional pizza sauce because that's the kind I buy. I buy it at Kroger normally. Well, I was in Publix and I just thought, let me beeline it right back there to the pizza sauce area and I'll pick up my Classico traditional pizza sauce. Well, I did that and it was, they didn't have Classico, but they had 6 other brands. I simply, rather than standing there and typing into my phone the name of every one of those, which would have taken much longer than what I'm going to tell you next, I turned each one of those around on the shelf. And then I started scanning sugar content. If it had more than 5 grams of sugar, boom, I turned that one around. It's out of the running. And then I started scanning the fat content and turned those around. Out of the 6, 2 worked and I picked one. And that didn't take me more than just 2 minutes to do all of that. And that's the way you use that. But just some general ideas. You could use any 0 calorie condiments. You can use 15 calorie or less spices and seasonings. Oftentimes that's those packets that you might use when you're taco seasoning meat and so forth. And you don't have to use the packets of seasoning. If you go online and learn how to make taco seasoning or Italian seasoning, however you want to, you can make those too. You could use salt and pepper, salsa, reduced sugar, ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. Okay, so we've gone over cooking oils, we've gone over condiments. I won't be going over those again today, but I might ask you some questions a little bit later. So be prepared to type. Category 1, if you'll remember from last night, is a lean protein. We can do 2 to 8 ounces of a lean protein. Ladies, it's really best if you're going to measure and figure this all out and want to do it precise. 6 ounces would be best to stick with. Guys could go up to 8, but I'm going to tell you a secret. I have never measured. I put it under this hand and I don't make it any thicker than the thickest part of my hand. I put the other stuff I'm eating here and I do it like this and I cover it up and I don't want to see my food, but I don't want it thicker than the thickest part of my hand and I just eat it. But to be accurate, 2 to 6 for ladies, 2 to 8 for men. 8. Egg whites are here. All fish is here. Chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew national, 97% lean beef franks, and 96% lean ground meat. So those are some options. And this is a small, very small list. But in the beginning, your first week, you don't need a giant list. You need enough to get started to make some simple meals. So 96% lean ground meat is really beef, chicken, turkey, any of that, the more processed ground meat. And then low fat and fat free cottage cheese is here, but full fat cottage cheese is actually on the lifestyle. It's just a category 4 protein plus fat. And there's a lot more deli meat approved than just boar's head. We just list boar's head out right there because we know that it's extra lean. And so often when people are getting started, they're like, where do I go? Boar's head. Okay, they just go buy some boar's head, but you could branch out. There's lots that are approved. Pork tenderloin is most pork products are a category 4 protein plus fat, but pork tenderloin is a category 1 lean protein. But I do want to make a suggestion. If you see visible fat on there, please go ahead and trim that off, because remember, we use category 1 lean proteins to keep us safe from fat storage when we're eating it with an energy carb. So just if you see visible fat on there, just trim it off. It'll be best. All right. So what this is saying is that we can eat category 1 lean protein all by itself. Remember, out of the 7 categories of food, I said that 5 of them could be eaten by themselves. Category 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7 can be eaten alone. So basically, I just skipped energy, carbs, and fruit. But the rest of them can be eaten alone. Now, most of the time, you're not going to just eat stuff alone, but we've got to teach you situational things so that when you are at a place or somewhere where you don't have control over what you're eating, you can make good decisions. So you can eat this by itself. Now, that doesn't mean to put it under 2 hands. It still means you just have it right there. Okay, but you can eat that by itself. So that's what that is. You can eat this by itself, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and have an excellent fat burning meal. Now we're going to scroll down. We have a brand new category here. Category 2, fibrous carbs. You could have half a cup up to 1 cup. If you are starting off in a weight loss mode, like most people do, half a cup is really best. All right, so just keep that in mind. Half a cup is best. Broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles, green beans. Okay, so all of those things are category 2 fibrous carbs. Now, I just want to point out, this says carbs, right? But these aren't carbs that bring an insulin release. They're fibrous carbs, and they work for you, not bring an insulin release, all right? All of these, if they have not been cooked in MCT oil, are also freebies. But we do not put freebies with meals. You would call it a category 2 if you're eating it with a meal. If you're eating it in a moment of mental weakness just to make it through the day, that's when you call it a freebie. But we don't just add freebies to meals. All right, so I would love to have some interaction. Do y'all see something from category 1 that you would eat with something from category 2? If you see something, tell me what that would be. What would you eat from category 1 with something from category 2? Awesome. Jennifer says all of it. That is wonderful, Jennifer. I love that. Janet says fish and green beans. That is excellent. Okay, excellent. Fish and green beans. And Chris, pork tenderloin and green beans planned for dinner tomorrow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so these are category 1 and category 2 meals. If you wanted to make this be the fastest fat burning combination, which oil would you choose to cook with it if you have it already? If you don't have it already, don't worry about it. You can just get some. But which oil would be the one to make a category 1 and 2 be the fastest fat burning combination? That's right, Phyllis. MCT oil. Okay. You are blowtorching fat like you'd blowtorch butter. This is exercise on a plate. Exercise on a plate. So then you can doctor it up with the right condiments and you have a fat burning meal. Now, let me just say, you have just learned food combining. It's that simple. It's simply putting two things that work together on a plate together. And when we come to the things that don't work together, not putting them on the plate together and not eating them together. Okay, we're going to scroll down. We've got category 7, shellfish. What is shellfish really? It's just a what? That's right, Phyllis. It's been Jennifer and Patty and Janet. Awesome. It's really just a lean protein. So if anybody ever says, oh, you're going to need a lean protein with that, if you eat shellfish, then you can pick it from category 1 or category 7. Okay. It's 2 to 8 ounces again. Same kind of thing about the ounces with the lean protein. Crab, it says not imitation. There are a few imitations on there that'll work, but just make sure that you see what category it says, because sometimes they have fillers and those fillers change the way that that food is categorized. So just check that if it's imitation and make sure you're buying an approved brand if it is. But crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. Now, I want you to think about this. All fish is in lean protein, category 1. This is all still lean protein. It's just all the other critters that live in water, whether or not it has a shell. It goes here. So you can have category 7 all by itself. Now, this is where a lot of ghee butter usage comes in. Somebody dipping some crab legs or lobster tail or making shrimp scampi, that comes in handy. And then you can use the right condiments to doctor that up and make it taste like you want to. And you can eat it by itself and have an excellent fat burning meal. So now we've come down here to another grouping. Do y'all see something from category? If you eat shellfish, do you see something from category 7 that you would eat with category 2? Y'all either give me a thumbs up or tell me what that would be. I love to hear what people like to eat together. All right, so somebody would eat something together. Oh, Karen on Facebook, shrimp and asparagus. Yay, Karen, thank you. Shrimp and asparagus. And then she could use ghee butter, or if she wants to make it the fastest fat burning combination, then she can use MCT oil, doctor it up in the right condiments, and have an excellent fat burning meal. All right, we're going to scroll down. We have another category. Category 4, protein plus fat. Now, protein is good for you, and fat, when it's a natural, God-made fat that is portion controlled, it's not going to hurt you either when you do the right thing with it, all right? Our body actually needs fats for certain functions, so we just want to keep in mind that we need to portion control it and eat it in the right way. So it can be eaten alone, which is good to know. Good to know, because sometimes when you end up at a restaurant or a luncheon and your options might be limited, especially if at a luncheon and you don't have the choices because you can't order it like on from a menu and stuff, then sometimes I go to these things and I really just eat the meat. And then that's an approved meal and I move on, because not every eating situation that we have is going to be optimal. We got to make the best decision at the moment and still stay perfect. You'll notice that the ounces went down just a little bit, 2 to 6 ounces. So ladies, if we're really thinking about it, 2 to 4 would be best, men 2 to 6. Here's the reason the ounces went down. In 1 gram of protein, there's 4 calories. In 1 gram of fat, there's 9 calories. So there's just a few more calories in here, so we lower the ounces just a little bit, but you're still getting the same amount of calories there, or roundabout. Okay, all of your whole eggs. Whole eggs are whole eggs. Whole eggs are here. All of your cuts of steak are here. Pork ribs, beef ribs, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa, as long as no more than 50% of the calories come from fat. So let's have a look right here. 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat. This is, again, beef, chicken, turkey that's been processed and ground up. If it is less than 93% lean, it is not approved for a perfect day because really it's a whole bunch of fat that they added a little bit of meat to, even though it might sound lean. All right. So there's packaging going on, packaging situations and labeling rules. And sometimes they're not to our best benefit or understanding. So to make it be a category 4, 93 up to 95.9. And then category 2, you can eat category 4 by itself, but optimally you'll put it with a category 2. And then you can doctor it up with the right condiments. Now you'll notice, look, up here on these, we kept seeing a flame with the plus sign, right? That means those are excellent options for fat burning. This is still a great option for fat burning. It's just that those other ones were just a little bit better. Okay, so that's why the difference is there. Try to teach you all the nuances of things going on. But in my weight loss, I have eaten plenty of protein plus fat. Now, you'll notice, though, that one of the columns is missing. There's the column that was right before the condiments on everything else listed above. What's missing right there? That's right, Amy. The oils are missing. Thank you, Phyllis. Yeah, the oils are missing. That's because you already have fat there. You don't really need to add oils. So this is where I use 0-calorie cooking spray, water, or some type of uh, bouillon, something like that. Whatever it might be. I'm not a chef. Y'all might be laughing at what I'm saying. I don't know. But 0-calorie cooking spray, water, but I'm not using oils on this because I already have some fat in there. I don't need to add more. Okay, we have a brand new category. Patty's laughing at me because she knows I'm not a chef. But category 6, superfood. You can eat it alone. We've got pintos, black beans, red beans, soybeans, all your nut butters, your nuts and seeds and such. Most of your darker colored beans are in this category, and you will find your nut butters, peanut butters, and all of that here too. You can eat it alone. When you are eating it alone and you have this listed, you could go up a cup to 1.5 cups of those things. But if you're doing these foods in combination with other foods, it's probably not going to fit underneath your hands. This is the amount if you're eating it alone. But if you're eating it in combination with something else, you might be doing a 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup of that. So just want to make you aware of that. Peanut butter, 2 tablespoons is an approved amount, but if you're looking for quantity in peanut butter, the better in peanut butter, better, and then an N, peanut butter, better than peanut butter, you actually get 4 tablespoons of that. All right, so if you're looking for quantity, go that way. Otherwise, it's 2 tablespoons for a meal, 1 for a snack. And on that other one where you get 4 for the meal, you get 2 for the snack. But in all the others, it's 2 for the meal, 1 for the snack. So just keep that in mind about peanut butter. Most peanut butters are approved that don't have hydrogenated vegetable oil in them. We will never approve one with a hydrogenated vegetable oil in it, but most of the Jiffy and things like that are approved. But there's kind of like a hierarchy in foods. Better than peanut butter would be the one that we suggested first. Then nuts and more would be the second one. And then the peanut butter and company would be the third one. But you can really use any that works. So that's approved. All right. But you'll learn different little nuances as you are living the lifestyle. But you don't have to know every little nuance to get started. You don't have to have every little nuance down to then say, I'm doing this now, and when I finish this container, I heard that this other thing is better, I'm going to move to that one. You know, these are just the things that we do as on our journey, on our treasure hunt and our adventure. You can have a category 6 with condiments. What column is missing again? Yep, Amy, the oils, they're not there. Here's why. Superfood has all 4 macronutrients in there. It's got water in it, which we do consider water a macronutrient on Shibboleth. It also has in it protein, fat, and carbs. Okay, so it's already got some fat in it, and it's got carbs in it. Well, we don't need, depending on the superfood itself, we don't need it to be collecting more oil, I mean, fat. We don't need it to release insulin and collect fat. This one, macronutrient profile is all set up to take care of itself. Okay, so we don't need to add oils to that. Now, on a combination chart, you might see that you could add MCT oil to it. And in the beginning, on that beginning combination chart, you can go with it. It's just that over time, I wouldn't keep doing that. I actually follow the advanced combination chart that is on lap. Hang on, let me see. It's in lap 6. This is the combination chart I really like best. So if you want to go over and look at that one, you can go ahead and look at that one. That was in lap 6. Okay, we're going to look right here. We are putting together category 6 superfood and category 2 fibrous carbs. That's great. Your beans and greens are here if you like beans and greens, but this is also where you find a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Peanut butter, well, you need bread. It's not listed here, but we have well over 60 approved category 2 fibrous carb breads that break down in your body more like a green bean than a bread. And then you would have a sugar-free jelly. There's also a low sugar jelly that's approved. And if you like stevia sweetened things, you could do the good jam. But this is simply where a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is. And my friend Nikki Kyle has lost 93 pounds. She eats a peanut butter and jelly every day. She ate peanut butter and jelly every day before Shibboleth, but she had fat storing peanut butter and jelly. We simply showed her how to have fat burning peanut butter and jelly. Then she made the other habit changes too. 93 pounds gone forever because she knows what to do now. And I just saw her the other day, and it's been well over 2 years that she has kept that off. Category 3, energy carb, quarter of a cup up to half a cup. Now, in weight loss mode, it really is best to stick with a quarter of a cup. Honestly, it's not all going to fit underneath your hands if you don't, if you're putting 3 things together on your plate. So a quarter of a cup is best. All of your potatoes are here, oatmeal, steel cut oats, that Quaker fiber and protein oatmeal, long grain brown rice, most lighter colored beans, peas, tomato, onion, carrots, whole wheat pasta, and whole grain pasta. Okay, so let me just tell you about pasta. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. We're going to look up pasta tomorrow night in the food library because I want to explain and show some things. But just know we have lots of great options for pasta, mainly Fiber Gourmet. Write that down. Fiber Gourmet, it's a category 2 fibrous carb pasta. But these whole wheat and whole grain pastas will work. We just have better options for you, all right? We'll talk about that tomorrow night. Carrots, once they're cooked, they have a higher sugar content in them. And we've got to know that they will elevate our blood sugar. Our pancreas will secrete insulin. And so if they are cooked, we've got to call it a category 3 so that we combine it with a category 1 and category 2. Now, if you were just having like a little palmful of those raw baby carrots, that actually could be done as a freebie. And a few sprinkling of carrots on top of a salad, I'm talking a smidge sprinkling, that can be used as a condiment. You just want to keep in mind that it's used as part of your condiment so you don't overdo it. People are always surprised that onion and tomato are right here, but they are. So this is how I like to explain this. if you're getting close to a quarter of a cup of onion or tomato in a meal, then you need to call that a category 3 because that's going to help you stay safe because you're going to put it with a 1 and a 2. But you would not choose to have that with anything that had fat in it. So that's why you would want to consider that. Let's say that you want to make a 96% lean ground beef patty and you want to put a slice of Borden fat-free cheese on it, you want some mustard on it, and you want some ketchup on it, and you want a slice of onion. A little thin slice of onion, no thicker than your pinky, is actually only about 4 calories. But I don't want you to think, well, how much onion is 50 calories? We can't actually think about it that way and use it that way because the way that this onion responds in your body overrides the fact that it can be used as a condiment. Little bit as a condiment, little bit. Otherwise, if it's getting up to close to that quarter cup, just consider it a category 3. You actually would be able to use other condiments and you're going to eat it with a category 1 and 2 and you're still safe. You're controlling insulin. Does that all make sense, everybody? So do that with your tomatoes and onions. And then you've got your peas here and most lighter colored beans. The reason I say most is because every once in a while there will be a bean like a navy bean or a garbanzo bean, which is also a chickpea. They're category 6 superfoods. This is why it's really important for you to list out all the foods that you like, check them out in the food library, and know what are these? I need to know how to eat them together. So we've got these category 3. Let's do an example. Let's say that you want some long grain brown rice. So about a quarter of a cup of long grain brown rice. And you're knowing now long grain brown rice is going to elevate my blood sugar and my pancreas is going to secrete insulin. I need to eat in a way that's going to control that insulin. So I'm going to have some pork tenderloin and broccoli. So you've got your long grain brown rice, elevates your blood sugar, your pancreas secretes insulin. The protein in the pork tenderloin and the fiber in the broccoli are going to neutralize the insulin release from the rice, the long grain brown rice. You have just used food to control, food is medicine and controlled insulin. Now, at a quarter of a cup of rice, long grain brown rice, did you overeat the long grain brown rice? At a quarter of a cup, did you overeat it? Anyone? Anyone? I should say, right, Janet, Amy. Yeah, you didn't overeat it at a quarter of a cup. So it was like what you ate with it could deal with it. But if you go and eat like at McAllister's and you have their giant potato, it's going to be kind of hard to offset something that big with the lean protein and the fibrous carb. But that's where the portion control and the insulin control go together and they work together. Karen says, so can I have the shrimp and asparagus with long grain brown rice? Karen, you can with long grain brown rice. I would not cook that shrimp in oils. I wouldn't even use you might could use 50 calories of ghee butter with that. It's just a fat, and that rice could collect that. So I might choose to use 0-calorie cooking spray with that just to make sure. But yes, you can. That's approved. Okay, now you'll notice too, there's no oils listed right here. There's no oils listed right here because that right there would collect the oil and it would store it. We don't want that to happen. Let's look at category 5, fruit. Berries, apples, oranges, grapefruit. I'm going to stop there. All fruit is in fruit, but those are the lowest glycemic fruits. So let's say that you would like to have a medium to small orange. Maybe you make yourself an egg white spinach omelet, okay? Or maybe you are making yourself a lunch and you've got 97% lean beef franks at home. You cook up one, you put one in a thermos, all right? And let's say that you even want a bun. There are category 2 fibrous carb buns. You could take that bun in a baggie, and then when you get to your lunch hour, take that hot dog out of that thermos, lay it on that bun. You could actually use condiments that were approved and have a small orange, have a little lunch. We're going to scroll down, and now we are going to look at some other things. I forgot to say something. On this fruit, remember that fruit, although it is good for you, if we are in the nutritional situation that we need to get rid of excess unwanted body fat, we have to treat fruit properly in weight loss mode, meaning combined with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Once you get to maintenance, you can have fruit as a snack by itself. All right, category 2, breads. This is exciting. See, Shibboleth does not make people give up things. Our lifestyle is practical, sustainable, and fun. It's practical because most people aren't willing to give this up for the rest of your life. And if you have something that you have to give up for the rest of your life, but you're bothered by it, then that's not good. You can't sustain that because you would always be unhappy and then eventually you would just give in. Well, we have done the math on the breads and we know which breads will work. And they are all just simply listed in category 2 breads in the food library. Less is still best on breads, though, all right? You don't want to have more than 100 calories of bread per meal. But even if you're making something with a tortilla, I would not have 2 tortillas. I would just have 1 tortilla, all right? That's just a little edit, and because you don't need to. Really, you just one is fine. And if you need to eat some of the stuff, make it thick. Use a knife and fork if you want to. You don't have to have the stuff all in the tortilla either. You could just eat it by itself. But never have more than 100 calories of bread per meal. And if Travis ever looks at your journal, he's going to definitely tell you 1 tortilla is plenty. But you could do the La Tortilla Factory 50-calorie tortilla, Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread, Bran Crisp bread, which is really more like a dry cracker if you like a firm cracker. Healthy Life hot dog buns. That's that hot dog bun I was just using as an example in that lunch example I made. And the Thomas Light 100-calorie English muffins. So those all work as a category 2 fibrous carb bread. They break down more in your body like a green bean. Approved sweeteners, stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol. Any 0-calorie sweetener works fine. Approved beverages, water, water, water. Nothing takes the place of your water. You've got to get your water in at least 64 ounces every single day, up to 128 ounces. All right. You can also use 0-calorie beverages of any type and unsweet or just in general an approved tea. You just have to look and see if there was some different kinds of teas that were approved. And you could do coffee with 15 calories of approved sweeteners. Now you can do it black. You don't have to have approved sweetener. But if you do want to use an approved sweetener, please don't put any more than 15 calories in there. All of these things do add up. So condiments that are cheese. I'm going to read these off. Actually, I'm not. Yep, Polly is right. Polly says too much bread is what he saw wrong with my journal when he reviewed it. Yep, I remember that, Polly. And I just watched another journal review today, and he told her not to have 2 tortillas, just to have 1. And Polly, I think he'd suggested that Polly have tortillas, but I don't think she's a fan of them. So I think he still just said have just 1. But I've really learned to enjoy an open face sandwich. Put that bread down, put all the food on there, and then grill that thing. Heat it up, get it all bubbly with some cheese on top. It's great. It's just an open face sandwich, and I just eat it with a knife and a fork. And it's delicious. I like them. So all of the fat-free cheese works, but this cheese right here, this Cabot Extra Light cheese, it's actually a category 4. Protein plus fat can be used as such. All of the fat-free cheeses can be used as category 1 lean proteins. Karen, nothing counts as water other than water. So nothing takes the place of your water. Now, if you're wanting to put a little, that's what I thought, Polly. Okay, so Karen, I think what you might be asking is if you could put some other things in your water to flavor it. Those don't count towards your water count. So the only thing that you could put in water and it count as water is a little bit of lemon or a little bit of lime. That would still count the real stuff, not packets of stuff or squirty fake stuff. So what I do is I always make sure that I get in 64 ounces, Karen, and then I could do a health-wise energy drink or a Celsius packet or a Spark or something like that. But I would always make sure that I had at least my minimum in before I did another one of those. But then I always try to get in the rest of my water as clean, clear water. But if you want something in your water, it could be lemon or lime. I've done that before. On those days where I'm like, okay, I need a change. I need a change. I'll go into my refrigerator and I'll get out a little lemon juice or lime juice and squirt it in my water and do that. But I don't do that all the time either. So, but up to 50 calories of this cheese can be used as a condiment too. Thank you, Karen. But keep in mind that if you are wanting to have multiple things with your condiments, that like this Borden, I know it's 30 calories. I could use that with other things. But if I'm using like this Cabot, it comes in a block. So if I've cut off the blocks in sections of 50 calories, then I would only be able to use that cheese. So you just want to keep that stuff in mind. Now, this is very important. Lean protein milk, fat-free Fairlife milk, and Kroger Carb Master milk. Those are extremely important. They're fat-free, okay? And they've been fortified with protein. If you're using this as part of a meal, then you can do 8 ounces. But if you're drinking this as your whole meal, then you can do 16 ounces, okay? This is going to come into handy when we talk about cereals. I'm going to get to that cereal in just a second. Breadings and flours, coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's TVP, Bob Red Mill's TVP, textured vegetable protein, and almond flour. These are all really category 2 fibrous carbs that can be used as flour. We can make these cheddar garlic biscuits and use them as a category 2. Yes, I have actually eaten 96% lean ground beef hamburger patty with 2 cheddar garlic biscuits that were counted as category 2, and it was a perfect meal. So you can do that. Now, Carb Quick, it takes the place of what people might have used as flour or Bisquick. But notice Carb Quick is spelled with just a K at the end, not a CK. So when you're looking up Carb Quick, if you put the C in there, it won't pull it up. So put that in spelled properly. I like to go ahead and suggest to people that they buy Carb Quick now, because if you ever use that type of stuff and you're looking through the recipe library at some point, you're going to go, oh man, I could make this if I had Carb Quick. But this is just one of those staples that if you go ahead and have it in your pantry, you're good to go. In the myshibboleth.com/shop section of our website, we actually have a little packet called the recipe starter kit that would get you MCT oil, the 100% MCT oil that we like best. It would get you Carb Quick and ghee butter. Those are the things that really people need when they make recipes that sometimes they just don't have at home. So it's best to go ahead and have those at home. But that's a recipe starter kit in the little store online. Cereals, 1 cup up to 1.5 cups. We got Kashi Go Lean, K's Natural, and High Low Nutritious Living listed here. I'm going to go show you something on the food library. So bear with me. I'm going to come back to cereals. Restaurants. We're going to go over restaurants more later in the week on one of the webinars, but here's what I have to say about them. Look at the restaurants in the restaurant guide. After you've passed your fast track test, it'll be a full restaurant guide open to you. If you look and you haven't passed that, it won't be that many listed. So if you don't see a favorite restaurant there, it might be that you don't have the full one open. But not every restaurant in the United States is listed in there either. Sometimes we just have to know how to make an approved meal at any restaurant. We'll talk about that later in the week. But go ahead and look at the restaurants that you frequent the most often, and then scroll through and see if there's the things that you've ordered, and then click it. It's very important that you order it just how it is described in the description. But that's the part of it's one of the beauty of Shibboleth, the parts of Shibboleth that I like the most. I don't have to think. I just order the way they said it. That's that. And that's what I eat because we've done all the work. We're there to keep you safe with those choices. All right, you will have access to this website that we did. I showed you earlier. It's in lap 2. But to talk about these cereals, I want to show something. I'm going to go over here to the website and I'm going to click on this green Resources, Foods, and Recipes tab. I'm going to click on Approved Food Library. And we're going to talk more about the food library tomorrow night, but I'd like to cover the cereals tonight. I'm going to come on down here, and on this side over here, do you see where it says phase 1 cereal and phase 2 cereal? And then you've even got phase 2 frozen meals and phase 2 soups. What I want you to know is that phase 2 does not necessarily mean that you've advanced into something higher and better. Okay. Phase 1 is the foundation of the lifestyle. You'll always be in phase 1 because that's you can kind of go into other phases, but it's not necessary. Okay. Those are advanced learning, or what this is, all phase 2 is, it's opening up more variety to you in the area of cereal, frozen meals, and soups. That does not necessarily mean the quality of the food is better and like you've advanced in your quality of food. Like, oh, I've advanced to buying organic, or that's not what that is. This is just more variety, and really more variety in the middle aisles of the grocery store. All right. We do have a way that we teach people how to do non-genetically modified and organic and all of that, but I don't do a lot of talking about that right now because so many people just need to focus on all of this stuff to start. And obviously, if you already buy that kind of stuff, then the quality of the food is up to you that you buy. So you can do that. But there is a special day called Divine Day that you can watch more about that later. But just get this down first. If I click on phase 2 cereal, it's going to open up the approved phase 1 cereals. Phase 1 is the better cereal. All right. So if we look at this list here, that's the best cereal that you could purchase. If you want the best of the best, I'd get into these -3s and -2s. That's where I would kind of stay. You can even change the weight loss meter right there to -2, -3. You can hit set and it will regenerate this list. Okay, so there's your cereals that are the best of the best. Kay's Natural Cereal, which we sell in our store, French vanilla, delicious. High-Low cereal, which I think they sell out in other stores. I just don't know where. And this AHS cereal, we sell that, the cinnamon crisp. Oh, it is so good. That's the one I like. Okay. So these cereals, you could actually do any approved milk with these cereals. So if you like an approved soy milk, or if you like an approved almond milk, you can do those milks with these cereals. See, cereals are even they're kind of starchy still. We don't want to have fat with them to be stored, and we need the protein in those high protein milks to offset the starchiness and no fat storage. That's why it's called a perfect pairing. It doesn't meet the rules of Shibboleth, but we figured out how it can work, and then we teach it to you. So if you don't do those other kind of milks and you like an unsweetened almond milk or an approved soy milk, then you could have those milks with this. But if you go over here into these phase 2 cereals, where they have things such as Reese Puffs, Captain Crunch, and all the Cheerios and things like that, you must have these cereals with a lean protein milk for it to work. Otherwise, it is not approved. Now, if you'll notice, look at this. The weight loss meter, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 means not going to help you, not going to hurt you. So it's not the cereal is not the absolute best for weight loss unless you're picking one of those other cereals. And with those other cereals, I would still do the high protein milks myself just because I want all that protein. Protein helps keep you satisfied. So I hope that helps with a little bit about the cereal. And you can look through that list of cereal, hit show more, it'll give you a little bit more. And those are all approved. But just remember, phase 2 cereal must be eaten with a lean protein milk. Okay. Bye, Janet. See you later. And Chris, if I have a phase 2 cereal with the Fairlife milk, how do I record that in the categories? Yep, perfect pairing, Chris. That's right. Perfect pairing. Yep. Awesome. Well, I hope that y'all have enjoyed tonight. I want you to know that I really do enjoy being with you, teaching this. I mean, I really want to help people achieve the things they didn't think were possible. And this is possible. There's all kinds of options. It's such an enjoyable lifestyle. You're welcome, Chris. So right now, Julie Marandino, one of our great Shibboleth leaders, is doing a webinar over on the Travis Martin's page, Travis Martin's Weight Loss Ministry page. If you go into our website and click on the pink online webinars tab, and then good, Phyllis, and then click on Travis's events, this one right here is happening now. Click on register and join, and you can hear Julie's take on how I overcame food addiction and lost weight. If you have found me and you are wondering what you got yourself into tonight by listening to this, please go to www.shibbolethdeals.com and get your membership. It is only $99, and that's for an entire year, not a month, a year. And that covers all of our levels, which it's normally $99 and doesn't include Travis, but this one does include Travis's Tiger Eye membership. You're welcome, Jennifer. Yes, awesome. I'll see you tomorrow night. Patty is encouraging everyone to complete all of the fast track videos and all of the laps. Don't just stop at the videos. Awesome. Yes, thank you, Patty. Thank you. All right, y'all have a great night. I'll see you soon.